Greetings. If you know who I am, you know that I am Suzanne Titkemeyer of No Longer Quivering, a Pathos blog for Pathos daily column for almost 10 years. And one of the things I get asked a lot is Sunday service. Well, I can't, I haven't been able to actually get that together too well. So here goes nothing. I'm just going to talk. And I pulled up some notes and something I'd written that I want to share with you guys because I think it's important. And I think that the church in general has this idea that is just absolutely ridiculous. And they use it to shame us, they use it to shut us down when we've experienced spiritual abuse, physical abuse, SA, anything like that. They use it as a means for shutting people down, and it was never meant to be that way. The thing is called the beauty of bitterness. And if you've been to churches, you've heard the word bitter thrown around and to what it doesn't mean. I'm going to start with a few quotes at first, and I didn't write down who actually wrote them, so I'm going to have to just fly by the seat of my pants. People cannot trust Christ if they are completely broken by church leadership. That's the first one. The second one is brokenness is a blessing and a curse at the same time. It hurts. It's not our natural state, but it's where the marvelous, life giving light leaks out. Um, they're referring to a lantern that is broken, and the place where the light comes out is marvelous. You know, they can't even define bitter. Bitter is a specific taste on your tongue. Bitter doesn't apply to people. People can be broken, they can be hurt, they can be whatever, but they are not bitter. This is not something that I like to see ever used about people. The church uses the word both as a crutch and a cudgel. The most disturbing thing to me is how it's used to dismiss, demean, belittle, and deny genuine victims of abuse, all kinds of abuse. They use it as a catch-all term that gets busted out every time any slight criticism happens on just about anything that runs contrary to what they hold dear, what they think they hold dear. It's a way to shut down independent thought. Don't want to think seriously about something, declare it rooted in bitterness, and move on to something else. And let's be real here. Friendly fire happens. It happens time and time again. It gets labeled as bitterness. And if you dare raise a voice to complain about the injustice of it, or you don't accept your punishment with a smiling face, they will label you as bitter. If you expect or you need change in your church, your spiritual life, or in other small ways, there will be someone who is going to call you bitter. Be prepared. It will happen. People are so threatened by change or any hint of change that they immediately want to shut that down. It's something they just do not want to deal with. Those entrenched or enmeshed in the wrong abusive things, the self-righteous are the very ones, the front pew sitters, the kiss the pastor's derriere people, the rigidly hardcore unthinking who will be the first ones to hurtle the charge of bitterness at you. Vain conceit when we think higher of ourselves and our ways than those of other people. It runs counter to everything taught by Jesus. To consider others, to love others, to have a servant's heart in all situations, to think about the needs of others. How often do you see that happening lately? I'm not seeing it. Who do we think we are? Even King David danced before the Ark of the Covenant in his underwear. We're no better than that. What are we dancing in front of in our underwear? What right do we have to take ourselves so seriously when the gospel calls for humility and love? That broken and imperfect lantern I was talking about earlier throws both shade and light. Sometimes we just need to rest in the shade, to recharge, to restore ourselves. We cannot live always in the light. There will always be those times when recovery, rest, and restoration needs to happen more than anything else. Never, never, ever feel guilty about needing to rest in the shade. That's what many of us need. I'm in a shade resting moment at this moment, which is why I'm not doing live streams. Okay, you guys, that was just my thoughts on bitterness um, that I wrote sometime before. There's a lot more I could say, but I thought I would give you a Sunday sermonette about bitterness and how it happens in the church and what it happens like. Don't let anybody put you in the box and say that you're bitter. You can be disappointed, you can be broken, you can be unhappy. There's a whole rainbow of things you can be that they're going to call bitter that's not actually bitterness. I don't think they know what bitterness is. Okay, so I'm done ranting about that. I just want to thank you for your prayers. That they've really helped. I feel better today. I also wanted to say I did a video last night that I'm getting ready to post on YouTube shortly. It's up on my Instagram, and all it is me telling my history of how I joined my old church, how I left my old church, the Reader's Digest version, and then I talk about my relationship with Without a Box of Kleenex, and I talk about what happened, why we fell apart. I talked about her using my story, what I'd said. So I'm going to put that out there. I put that on Instagram because somebody asked me to do an Instagram video about that to debunk her. So I did. So I'm probably going to put that and a few others on my channel today. And then I'm going to get back in the bed and I'm going to rest in the shade. Be better. Don't let them call you bitter because bitter doesn't really exist except in taste. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes we like things that taste bitter. Love you guys.